Good evening, welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI tournament. Unless a miracle happened, we are still not back on our Twitch channel, which got hijacked and is still not reactivated for some reason. Although we have sort of got control of it ourselves again. So, yes, this will probably be a Smashcast thing. We'll post a link on Facebook. But first of all, we've got a TVT on our hands, which you would not ordinarily see. It's TSC Moose Dragon, the Cherry Pie implementation of Terran and Crazio Terran, which is still not reactivated on the ladder, and that's a problem, or at least a pity. So let's see how things are going to evolve. Scouting SCV-1, namely that of Dragon, has been killed. Crazio's Scouting SCV is still doing the rounds and feeling a little pressure, but can spot everything up till here. Dragon going for a very quick factory with a machine shop and a starport, so Crazio should know what's coming. And furthermore, there is a scouting barracks on the way. So yeah, what I have here, Crazio's doing the same thing, but instead of going for a starport, goes for a factory, double factory. TSC Moose Dragon has got this nice little army group under control with a quick expansion, but Crazio's already ranging it with the siege tanks, and there is, well, virtually no anti-air at all, so this raid these two raids might do very well. And these Marines are pretty brave, but oh, this is completely weird, but then again, that was the end of the siege tank. Crazio with the expansion itself is at about the same time as that of Dragon, so Dragon doing okay, worker count balanced, and although Dragon has got 3 raids now, Crazio does have some Goliaths, and Crazio's coming in for some pressure again, and Dragon throwing up a siege rather quickly on the high ground. That was not very wise, but here come the raids, and the anti-air is far in the back, and the Goliath is already damaged, so the raids are doing okay at this point. The Marines not so well at all, but here comes some more Goliaths, and I think that these raids, all the Goliaths, they don't really care about this siege tank, and it gets pewed to death in the top left corner. There you go. Poor tank. Now Dragon on the warpath, going with a couple of tanks and the Wraith cover. The Wraith cover we've seen before is excellent and can be quite devastating. Army supply is perfectly balanced, worker count slightly in the favor of Dragon, but then again, it's not all that interesting at this time. Dragon with the 4 tanks, Crazio with 3, anti-air in the advantage of Crazio, and the Wraith, of course, the mobility on the side of Dragon. So Dragon doing quite well. Repair on both sides, and Dragon winning this first tank shootout. And now advancing, will claim the high ground. This is a small bit of high ground on this ridge of Heartbreak Ridge, and that is going to be quite interesting for Crazio to have to figure a way out to get from under that pressure. But here is a Valkyrie, and the Valkyrie is doing quite well against the Wraith, and the Wraiths are getting repaired, but now with 2 tanks on the high ground, Crazio doing quite well, but losing some stuff as well, and you can see that Crazio is getting the better of this, and Dragon's units are feeling the pressure. There's only 1 tank left, and the SCVs are getting a little bit in front of the tank line and into the range of Crazio's tank, so that's not good, or at least for Dragon it isn't. And now, I think this Valkyrie is going to fall. Yes, it will. Dragon, though, with the extra expansion over here, and this one's up and running already, and immediately being fortified at the cost of a small army deficit, so should be careful not to get overrun, and you can see Crazio breaking out over here, and I think that this forward expo is going to be quite juicy a target, but the Wraiths and a Valkyrie for Dragon now, this is really next level TVT. Both players so aggressive, Crazio coming in from the top, and there is no tank to help and stop this, so workers will be lost, a refinery has been lost, and a Vulture in there also as well. So that's not good at all. The tanks are stuck over here protecting the 4th, which will soon be the 3rd again, because this base is conquered, and Crazio sweeping round the top, well, ridge with a couple of tanks with air cover. So yes, there we go. Now Dragon going to fortify in this location, tanks being brought up from the bottom. Crazio, though, taking care of this middle expansion, which was in a really precarious position, and taking a 3rd base itself. work a transfer, cut short because there are some neutral minerals which are going to be mined with 3 SCVs at once. That's pretty clever. And now let's return to the battle at hand, because the Wraiths of Crazio have taken the field now, and as they have got numerical superiority, it is going to be all about micro, as they say. And Crazio has got not enough tanks, I fear, at the moment to help and stop a Dragon's push. Dragon doing okay, sniping a... and the Marine. Playing Minesweeper, that's not good. And that was a very expensive tank, so Dragon could do with a bit of science vesseling, and Crazio has got a science vessel, and now about 6-7 tanks rocking up to the front. Dragon with the quicker siege and the repair, but the science vessel is getting repaired before that. And now some shots being exchanged. I think that Dragon has got the advantage until the air cover of Crazio arrive, and then you can see that these tanks of Crazio, which are in a superior number, do get the upper hand. And Crazio now taking a base over here, and Dragon is contesting it with two siege tanks. Gets cancelled, shut down. For the time being, both players rather perfectly balanced. Crazio has got the larger army, and I think that Dragon is still paying for its failed attempt to take this base. That is a really solid tank line by Crazio over here, and you can see with the air cover it's got now 2 versus 1 Wraith, and although Dragon has got a science vessel of its own, and now a Valkyrie, so this is a very expensive Valkyrie, firing 1 volley and then getting taken care of by the Goliaths. And wow, this is really not the passive TVT we used to see between Seda and Crazio. It's really aggressive, it's happening at all levels, and although Dragon is easily flopping a 17, going to be 18,000 APM soon, or just making it 17, and Crazio is a little bit more modest in that department and is doing quite well with all the expansions. So macro-wise it's doing okay. There is not a lot of defense, but some production as well at the expansions, and Dragon is going to be starved. You can see that over here, the main is mined out, the natural will be gone soon too, it's highly oversaturated, and Crazio is rolling up the artillery towards the natural choke, and that's not a good sign, as there is no production over here, and Crazio is attacking that at the same time. So Dragon with his back to the wall, Crazio has got the map in a tight deadlock, and now is going to produce a lot of units. Army compositions for both players, well, tank count vastly in favor of Crazio, and Dragon is trying to get by, but I fear it is not going to be enough, and I can only... that's some nice tank defense with the double matrix. Lots of SCVs for repair, but I fear there is just too much Crazio at this moment. The third got completely overrun by a handful of supporting units. And now Crazio's Wraith count is absolutely out of control. How many has it got? 12 Wraiths, that's quite a lot, and more to be built. Wow, that's... I think that's going to be the new TVT, air cover, tanks, but not so many tanks that you can forego a fair number of Wraiths. And Crazio now has got 16. Dragon has got nothing left. This is going to be the GG, and next game up will be Cherry Pie of the 2017 finals, and Seda. So this is pretty wild. It's Samsung versus Facebook again, and I don't know who uploaded Cherry Pie, but it is a good thing to do because it's very, very good. And I should show you this now. Where are the rankings? Oh, the rankings are coming. So the rankings are loading slowly for some reason. Here goes the scout. Oh, and it gets caught. That's a bummer. Here comes the scouting SCV, and I fear it will fare a little bit better as there is no spawning pool yet. An extra hatch is coming in, and I think that there are going to be some Zerglings. At least no, nothing. Just eco all the way, and finally a pair of Zerglings. But this is a pretty ballsy natural, and Seda on the back of that is going for a vulture to counter the Zerglings. But as there is a sunken, it should be okay. An Evo chamber over here for some city might be nice, because you were always going to be prone to a run-by like this. And the Zerglings playing tag with the SCV, which is doing surprisingly well in that regard. Will we have Zergling speed? Yes, eventually, but it's going to take a while. And it's not like Iron doing a run by, because you can easily run by this Sunken, and then Cherry Pie would be in grave difficulties. But here come the Hydras, and with an Overlord are going to do quite well. So Seder has got this position well fortified. The wait is now for a tank. I think siege mode. Oh, it's not yet done, and no tanks are being built, so could be an opportunity for Cherry Pie to get some work done in the middle of the map. The Hydras take care of the Vultures, and as there is nothing too much in the form of defense with tanks, it is going to be a third base for Cherry Pie, and the Overlords hanging around over here doing great. Worker count for Cherry Pie is really impressive. Cherry Pie can balance aggression with workers so very well. Oh, and now some Vultures going on a sneaky run by are going to find that base. And not taking some pot shots, just making sure it's there. And you can see now Seder making a lot of Goliaths. They have got range, no siege mode, no... Oh, finally a tank in production. But of course there is a Spire, so Cherry Pie might at any point just switch to air units, and then of course it would be nice to have quite a number of Goliaths ready. Oh, and here comes the first muta. So the third base is operational, and I don't think that the Vultures will reach it. No, they won't. And Cherry Pie having a great army and 3 bases. Now 4. Not really enough workers for all of them, but all the hatcheries and all the larvae they will produce, because there are some macro hatches as well, 2 in the main, nowhere else. And you can see this Zerg thing can get wildly out of control pretty fast. Nice would be to drop them in the main, or just to do a muta run by, as there are only 2 turrets over here. That might be pretty deadly, and Cherry Pie keeping tabs on everything, just sending out a Zergling to check out whether or not the mineral only were taken. And this of course is a bit of a meat grinder you don't want to stick too many Zerglings and Hydras into, especially not with 2 tanks backing it up. Should just macro, and oh, here comes a macro hatch, there comes a macro hatch. So Cherry Pie will soon be rolling, and let's look at the production tab. It's going to be mutas, a hive, more workers, Zergling, Hydra. It's just producing everything, and now the mineral only is being taken, and a Zergling is going to check it out and die. So now Cherry Pie knows what's going on. And this is just not the way to go about it. It's just bashing your head straight into war, and with all these... Oh, the tanks were down at the mineral only, and you can see the production tab. It's completely wild. So many units, and Cherry Pie just keeps on churning, and does not think about not having an army at all. Tech-wise, there is nothing there. Upgrade-wise, it's okay, no +2s, but +1 is good to have. And now the mutas are going to play a bit with the Vultures, I would say, but they are not going to do so. And now the workers are being transferred back and forth. I think the neutral minerals are playing tricks on Cherry Pie, might do with an update, although I do not think it's under development anymore. So we are just going to be stuck with this. Lots and lots of drones. We've got 55, 56 already. It's going to be 60 with all these drones being produced, but also buildings being built, so that mineral only being taken as well. And Seder going for a 4th with a lot of turrets. No, they will not impede mining too much at this rate. And we are now stuck in a situation where Cherry Pie can't get in and Seder can't really get out, because if it does... Oh, there is not all that much Zerg actually. But the Zerg, which does very well in containing these Terran units, and there is not all that much anti-air, so the tanks they do feel the heat of the mutas, and now no +2 anywhere in sight. Oh, this tank's got in way too deep and gets killed because of that. Seder didn't really make it out of there, but he is now contesting this area on the map a little bit. And Cherry Pie is going to have to work hard to be able to contest that. So, what will we see from Cherry Pie? No +2 anywhere to be seen. And I think in the long run that's going to be quite difficult to sustain a battle versus a Terran, which is just going to play mech and upgrade the hell out of everything. And this is very well fortified. Air units will not stand a chance. 6 turrets over there, and yeah, you are not going to get in there ever. There is just too much nasty stuff. And let's see at the eco situation. Oh, a drop, we just caught that. Main is mining out for Seder. Cherry Pie has got a little bit more. There is nothing here, so that's being a bit reckless, and here you go, a couple of vultures decimating the worker count over here. Will units be sent to help them counter that? Well, not really. A Zergling, but that's about all there is, and now this base is depopulated. 2 more Zerglings coming. Oh, and all the Zerglings die. That's a bummer. This vulture doing very well, and you can see how well a drop of that modest size is doing versus a Zerg which is not prepared. And now Seda will be able to move out. Oh dear, that's an Ultra taking 1, 2 mines and then 10 and then it's dead. And Seda is really rather without an army. No, Cherry Pie is. Seda is of course rocking, approaching max, and now is going to steamroll the map with a large number of units. There is an Ultra. Oh, and here come the +2 upgrades, but they're a little bit late, and I say that Cherry Pie really got a bit too focused on the natural choke to do much damage. And of course you're not going to catch out a Mech Terran if you are going to plow units into the natural choke. So that's that. Some mutas are over here, but this army is going to be very hard to stop for any Zerg. And Cherry Pie is trying to rebuild workers because there are drops and harassments going on everywhere. Oh, here as well. So the worker count, the economy of Cherry Pie is dead, and Seda is just overrunning it. That is going to be the GG. And let me hop into the next game because, well, there is quite a number of games I've got to cast. This is another recommendation. So these two were the first recommendations. It is Insanity Bot versus Martin Roikus. The author of Insanity Bot sent me them, and Josh, that was very nice of you. Let's see how far Insanity Bot has progressed over the last couple of months and see whether or not it can take down Martin Roikus' Lita Bot. Lita going for a first Marine at the ramp, while Insanity is going a little bit macro heavy with a bunker over here, so should be okay. And Lita is going for a quick factory. And now the extra, oh dear, that's not going to, you're not going to play Bio versus a Mech Terran, please. But 2 bunkers sort of seal the deal, and at least the natural choke. Now Litterbot is going to bring a couple of tanks over here, and that may be very difficult for Insanity Bot to break. The tanks are sieging, unsieging so much they don't get any work done. This turret is still standing with only 1 SCV for repairs. And now Litterbot is just going to bring more and more tanks, and perhaps this is completely out of control. So at this point, the sound of sieging and unsieging is actually hurting my ears. Litterbot still hasn't got a natural, and the turret is still standing now without an SCV for repairs, but I don't know what the hell this is supposed to accomplish. Insanity Bot going for a charge versus the tanks, but that's, well, the last charge of the Light Brigade. It is not going to work, and Litterbot has got some serious issues. It just can't get anything done. Oh, finally. If they would just blast right over here, everything would die from splash. Oh, but right now, oh god. There is... I totally missed that. Insanity got out and is building nuclear silos, and Litterbot is not getting anything done, so we might have a nuke soon. We've got 1 nuke, let's see where it's going to land. And the ghosts are just taking potshot at the tank. This one may just actually die because it's not being repaired actively. And yeah, what will you have? There is nothing, no units, not a lot of units are being made over here. We've got 2 nukes still. And oh god, oh god, oh god, this is going to be... This is the silliest match. I can only hope a nuke will land somewhere over here to end it. Insanity doing pretty well with the income, is out of control. Litterbot's mined out because it's just not expanding nor long distance mining, so that's completely bollocks. This would be an excellent spot for a nuke, I would say. There is no detection anywhere. And still 2 nukes. What's Insanity building? More units, more silos. And it will soon be maxed, even though it's losing some units from time to time. And, well, you can't see it because of the overlay, but this game is running out of time. Dil's still got 2 nukes. I don't know what the hell is going on with this game. I'll just let it run its course for... perhaps we are going to see that. Yes, we will see that nuke. I think this ghost is going to do it right over here. That is an excellent location. Oh god. Litterbot at 86. 86 and... Oh! 70 supply dead in an instant. And that was... Oh, there are 3 vultures left. And basically that was the entire army of Litterbot and it's all gone. Oh god. Oh, that was worth the wait. Oh, and 2 vultures over here are trying to kill, or actually killing the science vessels, and the marines are now slowly rounding them up. And then you've got a huge Congo line of infantry heading your way. We've still got... Oh, we missed 1 nuke somewhere, or it didn't get fired, I don't know. And Insanity, despite having a huge bank, is not building anymore. It's going to overrun Litterbot anytime soon. And as there are no more nukes, I am going to call the GG on this game. And hop into the next one, which is another recommendation. And it is Bradberg versus Thomas Weide. And of course we've got the potential for nukes as well. Thomas Weide's Simp, which made a very deep run into this year's finals, is going for its only build. It's not so much bread and butter as the only thing it can do. Walling up with a lot of cannons. Cannon placement is quite good, despite having this really wackily formed natural entrance. You could place 2 over here, I believe. Oh, here comes the first... Oh, sorry, that was a bit quick. Here come the first carriers, and now they're going on their way. And by this time, you have seen it perhaps on the minimap, there is a huge amount of barracks everywhere. And the marine production count is off the chart. Bradberg can't even keep its money down with all these barracks over here. It's absolutely wild. And it's now like watching Starship Troopers, the movie, without the special effects and without the book, which was rather high on drop shipping marines and exoskeletons and nukes being fired. Oh god, nukes being fired. Yes, we might have that too. You can see the amount of marines being produced is absolutely off the chart. There is a group of carriers doing well over here. Have we got nukes? No, we haven't. Not at this moment. Bradberg might do well with lockdown. And you can see that marines are now going to try and stop these interceptors. But there are quite a lot of interceptors. Oh god. I missed the nuke. Oh no, I think the silo got wrecked. And right now we've got way too many interceptors for the number of marines. But new bases are being taken over here. And the interceptor count, Ximp will have to buy a lot of interceptors, as this infantry army is pretty good at killing interceptors. You can see... Oh. I don't believe that's really the best place. Nor that. But that was pretty cool because there were nukes, right? So more nukes are being built. 1, 2 and a lot of infantry. Ximp is out of money in the main and is trying to rebuild the natural, but that's going to cost it, and it hasn't got a 3rd base. So meanwhile Bradberg has got a lot of units. Oh, and that nuke got wrecked because there was an interceptor over it. And you can see the amount of interceptors being killed by this heavy... Oh, here, yes, 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 yes. Then push it back. Please. Ah, just no, only killed an interceptor, I believe, but that was pretty close. So now the infantry is going just to headbutt straight into the cannon line, and that will have to be rebuilt. Oh, there was another group of carriers right over here doing a lot of damage. Oh, 2 groups actually, and some in the middle as well. So the infantry army is going pretty strong, being maxed and with 10k gas in the bank, because where do you spend gas on if it's only... Oh god, I'm missing all the nukes. There is an interceptor, but where? I heard the nuke sound somewhere. Oh yes, oh god, I missed it. It's going to be somewhere here. I don't really know where it... I think this is the ghost doing it. Oh, and it got killed. Because there is an interceptor. I don't know where. Here comes another ghost. Another pair of ghosts. Oh yes, here it is. That's a pretty good spot actually. will kill some buildings of your own, but I think these are the carriers with the most interceptors. And... ooh, yeah, killing half your base, but that's about it. And now Ximp is really out of money, and Bradberg's just taking more and more bases, and still producing a lot of crap all over the place. And now these carriers are caught, and I think only the ghosts are firing, but they are getting completely wrecked by these 2 damage a pop Gauss rifles, and that's going to be it. So the waiting is for more nukes. Oh, this carrier is going on a Deadman's run of its own, straight into the main where nothing is happening, but whoop, there you go. Oh, and Bradberg just going to do the charge of the century with a lot of bio. I don't believe it's even stimming at this point. Oh, these cannons are doing damage actually, but carriers, are there interceptors at all? Oh, there is one somewhere. Oh, here it is. This carrier still got an interceptor. And oh god, this is like watching an epic Zerg with all the marines just streaming straight into the main. Might really do well with lockdown. Have we got nukes? Oh, we have got one. Oh, yes, that's a pretty sweet spot. Boom, missing everything, or at least units. GG, and the next game up is my own selection, because we had quite a number of updates this week, and one of them is Sparks. We had a string of updates from the Margrave bot, and I thought, well, why not pit it against Simplicity with its very aggressive drop play. Hope you're going to see that soon in this game. Scouting SCV is getting a lot of intel out of this base. And now finally I think that Simplicity plugged that hole, but the entire build order will be left open, and Sparks is having some issues with the wall. Oh, sorry, this is a bit too quick. The Vultures with the Marines can do quite well against Hydras if there are not enough of them. There is a Lurker now, oh, 2 Lurkers, and a Siege Tank, so I think that Lurker hold might be a nice trick for a Zerg to do. Sparks going for another expansion, and I think, oh yes, Simplicity got a thingy out, a drone, and is now trying to get stuff done, but there is a Comsat, so I think that Sparks should be okay, especially considering the tank count is exceeding the Lurker count. So what's happening? What is Simplicity building? Simplicity is building a little bit of everything, a couple of drones, but nothing really decisive to get out of this deadlock, and the tanks just sweep everything from the map piecemeal, and that's of course quite good. Quite a number of mines on the map. Sparks not overexerting itself, not taking a third base, and Simplicity is sort of stuck in its base and it can't get out because there are way too many tanks. Oh, now going for a Muta Swig, that might be good. Should hit all at once and not in... oh dear, that's quite... sort of missed that. I have got to keep a little bit of casting speed into this game because I've got such a number of games, there have been so many updates, and well, I haven't seen many games for a week because Shonko is doing, oh, this is very deadly. The Muta count is still rising slowly, and Sparks is losing a lot of units this way and hasn't got a third, so I think with 3 bases for Simplicity, if this Muta thing can keep going, and Sparks is throwing away a huge amount of money without any anti-air whatsoever, I think that Simplicity will just be able to buy its way back into this game, shouldn't lose too much over here. And where now are the Mutas going? The Mutas are going straight into the main, and there is no anti-air there at all. Oh yes, there was a Goliath. A couple of Goliaths are being built. That's good for Margrave, but meanwhile, lots of damage being done in the main mineral line, and of course, oh, over the tank line, and this is going to be costly because there is no anti-air at all. Nothing coming in. There is a Sunken over there. The Muta should just go home and or try and kill all the Goliaths over here. That's a possibility too. Main is getting low for Sparks, and all the tanks here have been cleaned up, and those which haven't are going to be chased back. And now I think Simplicity should desist and get some real army together. It's now building a lot of drones and more hatches. That is good, you could get away with that, but meanwhile your Muta weapon is slowly depleting itself, although a large number of workers for Sparks have been killed, only 15 remaining, 16 now, some are being rebuilt, and there is harassment going on in the natural as well, so lots and lots of income lost for Sparks. Now the Mutas will have to come back and save the third. Can't really afford to lose that at this point, but I think the Mutas which are there should have enough firepower to do away with all the Goliaths. Are more Goliaths coming? No, just more time. So the Mutas have things under control, the base is still standing, although all the workers are dead. And yes, should be careful not to leave any stray vultures into your economically important areas. Now you can see the tanks. Oh, they will perhaps be chased into this base over here. And now Simplicity has got a standing number. Oh, that's a lot of Goliaths though. Look at them kill those poor and hapless Mutas. The Mutas though into the main, and I don't think there are all that many workers left for... And here comes some more. Third base going to be stamped into the ground, and a large number of Zerglings advancing towards. Some will be killed, a lot of them will be killed due to mines, but then again that's going to be a lot of damage, and this base may be lost, a lot of workers may be sacrificed because Simplicity is still sending them in. Overall it's 40 versus 0 workers, and more Mutas coming. That's... the Muta count is off the charts. That's 30 Mutas versus 6 Goliaths, and the Goliaths, they can... Oh, well, they're going to have a party. They're going to have an absolute ball. This is the last pocket of Sparks units, and I think that Simplicity is going to tear right into it as soon as they kill this mine. And now all the buildings are dead. So Simplicity taking care of Sparks, really well done. Next game is Halpan versus Sergius Shu's Overkill. And, well, Overkill hasn't been updated in ages, but Halpan has, and that is going to be based off Ironbot. But Halpan's still working hard. Let's see what it can do. Going for a pretty standard fast expansion with a bunker, just to be sure, a couple of extra marines, no unnecessary luxury. And Sergius Shu appears to be going for a quick lair with a, well, decent number of workers. That's 13. Might get away with an extra hatch in there. That's a lot of workers for just 2 bases. But still, what can you do? And now it hasn't got any minerals for Aspire for some time, so this might have been timed a little bit better. But still, you've got Halpan stuck in its base, going for a mech transition, and at that point you will of course be vulnerable. And with one more, you can see only 4 or 5 larvae. That will make 6 Mutas at a time possible, and I think with the money you've got you could do with another base. And here comes the third, and the Mutas are out there doing damage to the vultures. Over here that's not really possible. They do have a vulture to play with, but they sort of leave it alone. And Halpan is trying to do its harassy thing, while Overkill is trying to find a way into the base. And as these Mutas are not stacked like we saw Killerbot do, like we saw Whopper Zerg do, that is just not happening. And I think that more Zerg should adopt that, because it can be so very, very deadly. Right now we've got 8 Mutas, 2 Goliaths, and a third base is under attack because the Mutas are not really as aggressive as they should be in cleaning up the vultures. And if there were some Goliaths with those vultures, it would be a serious pain for the Mutas to deal with that. Right now you've just got to get 1 or 2 Sunkens, and this base should be good. And now all the Mutas are all over the place trying to do stuff, and the good thing for Zerg right now is that Halpan doesn't really get out of the base. The Goliaths are still stuck over there, but without a concerted Muta effort, I think the Goliaths are going to do way too much damage, and still the third is a shambles, with workers actually being killed because there is no bloody Sunken. And these SUVs over here, I don't know what they're doing, but you should just kill them as they are free kills, and then you'll just build up your Muta count while they are building. What will we get out of Zerg? More Mutas, more drones, that's good, but please protect your bloody third. And here we go, another worker killed for no damn good reason at all. And right now, oh yes, there you go, the Goliath count is operational, and they are going to just ruffle stomp any Mutas in their path. Another base for Halpan, and Overkill started well, but the Muta control is just not up to snuff compared to these days standards, and Halpan is just going to roll with the Mutas, while a couple of vultures depopulate this base again. So with the 64 versus 9 army supply, this is only there is only one. Oh, and now it's time to do a drone and Hydra switch, because there are so many tanks, and as we all know, Hydras do pretty well against those. So Hao-Pan on the warpath, taking its sweet time to bust into the natural, but eventually just go. Yeah, there we go. 100 versus 0 army supply. That surely is the GG. And next game up is Lucas Moravec versus Magrave Zerg. So let's see. Magrave Zerg got updated, and Lucas has still been working hard. So this is going to be a game with some development to show, hopefully. Magrave Zerg is going after the scouting probe. Very well done, but then the drone gets stuck. That's always a pity, because that's about 10% of your income revenue possibilities. And now the first, oh dear, that's, yeah. Here come the Zerglings, and I think that this Sunken will finish. Oh, the Zealot is set on very heavily and should not get itself cornered. More Zealots are on the way, but the Zergling count is quite okay-ish, and now they all decide to have to run. 2 random overlords, and these Sunkens are pretty well, because if the enemy is going to commit to a Zealot push of 2 bases, I think that's going to be a +1. Zerglings alone will never cut it, and will more likely get cut up themselves. So worker count from a Magrave Zerg is epically low, it's only 8, and then it's trying to switch into Mutas of 8 workers. That's pretty ballsy. But then again, Mutas will do quite well versus a dedicated Zealot strategy. Then of course Lucas is going to do more. +1 will soon be finished, and it's going to make some goons. So I think that the work count has been upped a little bit, but could be a little bit better still. That's a lot of Sunkens, that's a lot of money and drones. Just, well, not really wasted, but where are the Mutas? Oh, we'll have one soon, that's great. There are 2 goons already, and killing the 3 overlords in the middle of the map, and that's a really tough supply block. Now going for the kill, but that Sunken field is pretty deep, and the Zealots are doing a murderous job on them, but they get killed in the end. So, oh, I like that. A bridge bit of creep with non-creep, and of course this creep colony is supporting this creep over here. Oh, and now the hatch is bridging the gap again. Lots of goons dying to this Sunken because they want to attack this hatchery. Although I think that Lucas is in a good position, and well, Magrave has got a nice work count, and that's now building up a Muta weapon of its own. Or at least a Muta weapon. More Mutas are coming. Have they got any upgrades? No. Goons are pretty good, and they should not be encountered with Muta alone. You should bring some Zerglings. That the Goon Dancing micro is pretty good, pretty on point. And you can see these goons dancing away, just absorbing anything that Magrave Zerg is throwing at them. The Mutas are right over here doing damn all, God knows what. Yeah, that's just not the way to do it, throwing 2 Mutas at once. You should really try and cluster them and get something done with them that way. The goons, meanwhile, get some casualties in by the Zerglings. More Sunken speedily being built. I think that Lucas will have to push a little bit better, and it's still right through the natural choke. Dropping some stuff over here might do wonders. Just a very cheap way of getting some worker kills, and then you can, at your leisure, kill the enemy. But the 3rd is now nearly done. It is done for Protoss. And the worker transfer, oh, the neutral minerals have been mined out, so I think that Lucas will have the advantage, but it's costing a lot of goons to break through a simple Sunken defense. And with Disruption Web or a Reaver or some air units, that might work a damn sight better, but still it's 60 versus not even 20 workers anymore. And these Sunkens have really taken their toll. Another base for Lucas. The goons take care of the Mutas again, but all in all, it's just a very inefficient way of tackling a defense like this. And I can't really understand why this natural choke kind of thing, oh that's a lot of storms, but there isn't anything to storm anymore. So finally Lucas's army breaking through, and that's only because it's 8-1 in size and strength. Upgrade wise I think it's going to be even worse, +2 versus virtually 0 upgrades for Zerg. That's the GG. Magraves Zerg needs some thinking, and Lucas will need that too. Next game up, Banana Brain received another update, and if I'm not very much mistaken, yes, I've got a nice PvP with Banana Brain as well. But now I thought, well, let's pit it against Microwave, and if finally, yes, there we go. The rankings have loaded. On top is Dragon. That's pretty wild. Where the... This can't be right. Oh, that's better. What's this then? What's our own rank? Why is that so much better? And where the hell is Seda over here? Well, it's doing pretty well with ELO. So the general ELO rating, it's Locutus on top, now over Seda, then Purple Wave, Ironbot, Crazy Protoss, Microwave, Proxy doing very well, Banana Brain, and Dragon running and climbing up the ramp. Then TSMU Random, Cherry Pie, Steamhammer, Purple Destiny, Purple Spirit, Killerbot dropping off a bit. Last update has been, well, quite some time ago. 2 weeks, that is. That's not all that much. And then basically the rest of the pack. So a lot of development happening in the top levels, although you can see Locutus' last update in February and Seda in 2018. Purple Wave, April, Ironbot, well, March, Crazy Protoss, April as well, and then you get really the impression that a lot of work is happening at the moment, so that really shows. I think that is not going to work. No, it isn't. So Banana is going for a Forge Fast Expand with a Gateway into the mix, and well, probably an Archon or a Reaver could sneak out of here, but it's rather prone to getting clogged up. Lots and lots of gateways, and Microwave is going for some kind of a Hydra thing of 2 bases, and well, the worker count is okay, the upgrades are sort of there, but I think that the muter thing would be better, considering how many Zealots there are. They have got the +1, and the Hydras need some space to maneuver, and are now in a position where they can build nice concaves and split and kill a little bit, and you can see how much pain they inflict on those poor hapless Zealots. Microwave doing well, could take a third behind this, the money should be there. And what is coming from Banana Brain? Banana Brain is really getting pushed back. Both armies passing through one another. And I think that you are really going to need more than this. This Hydra Cloud will easily bust these 2 cannons. 1, 2, and now take a lot of pro kills into the mix. Still no third for Microwave. He is going to build another hatch. I think that is good. Playing very defensive, but right now you've got the enemy with his back to the wall, and it's not the time to build any Sunkens in your mineral lines. But oh, with the workers, I think that the Mute is just coming back, and the Hydras did not kill the natural. The worker count for Banana Brain is still higher than that of Microwave, so if Banana Brain can get a better unit composition off the ground, or just outproduce the enemy at this point, I think that it still has a chance. The upgrades, +1 attack and +1 armor, are coming in from Microwave. Microwave has neglected to take a third, and that's going to be costly. Still, the Muters are going to be absorbed. These Hydras can micro so well, and you're really going to need Goons or Templar or Reavers or anything like that to help them deal with these Hydras. Hydra micro could be a little bit better. It's a bit strung out, but all in all, I think compared to the Zealots, they are doing quite well. The Zealots getting absorbed-ish. The Zealots have got a lot of staying power. Wow, that's quite impressive. But now the upgrades for the Hydras are finishing, and the Zealot numbers are severely depressed. Production, it's just all Hydras. There is not going to be any third base. It's just going to be a 2-base Hydra. And I think that's a little bit ballsy, because you might get lucky versus a Zealot-only thing, but that is a lot of technology right there unused, and now the Hydras, oh, they shouldn't tear up the ramp and try to get stuff done. Just pick off the natural nexus and get stuff done that way. Just be a little bit slower, more meticulous. But I think all in all they will get things done. And now the probes will be engaged for real. Probe numbers are plummeting. Mining is absolutely down. No third for Microwave. I think versus a stronger opponent or versus a better build order to counter it, because pure Zealot is never going to be pure Hydra, might be wise to take a third. But GG. Next game up. Oh well, let's do another PvZ. It's McRae versus Teamhammer. And McRae, of course, got updated as well, so let's see how that's going to play out. Steamhammer still pretty good. Let's see what the old Grandmaster is going to do. Going for a sort of a zealoty thing, a zergling thing, I believe. Will there be speed as well? Yes, there will be speed. So a little bit of zergling pressure with speed, but versus a Protoss. Oh, the first zealot is going to fall, and the second one as well. And with more zerglings to back it up, I think that McRae just got busted big time. There goes the... oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There goes everything. And that is a very ballsy play, but McRae got called out, just not careful enough. Didn't call any workers to help him defend, and that is the GG. Well done by Steamhammer. Cruel build, well-deserved win. Okay, well, let's go. We've got Banana Brain versus Locutus, and of course that's really the benchmark of Protoss at this time. It is still Locutus with its devastating Goon Micro and excellent Macro. And as Banana Brain has posted an update, let's see how Banana Brain is going to go about trying to take the game of Locutus. Locutus is the #1 right now because it can beat Seda and can beat a lot of other bots as well. Scouting probe of Locutus is doing great, and Locutus going for a couple of less workers, but a fast expand option right here. And appears to be going for some kind of a shenanigan-y thing. But here comes Banana Brain with 3 zealots, and more zealots are soon to be on their way. And now the naturals being taken by Locutus. Locutus down in workers, down in army, but has got 2 cannons, so should be okay. You can see that right over here. And sort of holds off the attack. Catches up an army supply, and Banana Brain sort of analyzes that and taking a natural of its own, which will be finished at about the same time. Well, without the beautiful SimCity, and the work count for Banana Brain is a little bit higher. So Banana Brain at this point should just sit back, take a nice concave. Let's look at the upgrades, range for both players. And Locutus is trying to move out, but it has got an inferior army, so that's not too wise. First 2 mutas falling for Locutus, and Banana Brain is really doing some work in the middle of the map. Should stay away from these cannons and is taking a 3rd base behind that. That's excellent. Upgrade-wise, nothing much happening. A +1 might do wonders, and this is a nice concave situation for Banana Brain, but now venturing into range of these cannons, and that's not good. But with the 3rd base coming up, the worker count for Banana is higher, and killing a lot of units of Locutus is 22 versus 8 army supply. And that's observer speed, if I'm not very much mistaken, and God knows why you would want to get that. But then again, just to exclude any kind of possibility of a Dark Templar switch by Locutus. And, well, if Banana were to stay out of range of these cannons, it would be much better. And now going for leg speed as well. Nothing too fancy. The 3rd base is operational. Workers being transferred. Banana should be careful not to lose these, because once Locutus gets rolling with the goons in the middle, you can see things get wild pretty quickly. And Locutus hasn't got this much of an army lead, but with just gateway units and your rallies, you are not going to stop this angry goon thing from rolling up your entire army. Now more goons entering the game, and although there are observers and you've got 3 versus 2 bases, Locutus immediately escaping and taking a 3rd, despite being under so much pressure, is going for the throat. The SimCity not being as beautiful as that of Locutus. I think Locutus is going to run away with this game, although Banana has got a 3rd base. There is a Reaver, but it's stuck in the middle of the base because the movement... That must be so frustrating if Banana Brain is, or if Johan is watching this game. You've got a Reaver, but it's not doing you any good because it's stuck in the mineral line being chased by a bloody goon. And Locutus right well knows that it has got to kill this Reaver and is doing so. So yeah, that's basically the game. Locutus just let it get 10 goons in the middle of the map, and Banana Brain has got Storm, has got Reeves, hasn't got an army. And if you haven't got an army, you have got to tap out. Workers being killed left, right and center. Locutus more than doubling the worker count at this point. Worker transfers all back and forth, not going to work. This base completely in tatters, 3 goons mop it up, all the remaining buildings. And that's the GG, and that is why you don't give Locutus a finger. It will run you down and into the ground, and that's the GG. Wow. So, penultimate game of today is Chris Cokes, which also posted an update. Triple Z K-Bot is the name of the beautiful AI, and it's, oh god, it's still going to do a 4-pool. So let's see what kind of an upgrade from a 4-pool into a 4-pool has been produced. This is completely wacky, but there you go. A little bit of over minerals, so could have built another drone, but instead it's just going for a lot of Zerglings. And with 1 gate, will there be a Zealot? There will be 2 Zealots soon-ish. But without workers, oh god, Random Hammer is going to lose a lot of workers this way. But finally the workers do fight and help out the Zealots, and now there are 2 Zealots, so I think that can be classified as held. More Zerglings on the way, but that's not going to... Oh, this Zealot is doing pretty poorly. And this one too. But with 2 more Zealots coming up, and there only being 1 Zergling, although the probes hardly defend themselves. That 4-pool defense is not as good as it could have been. We've got 1 Zealot. Oh, we've got 2 actually, but let's not do anything about the Zerglings because we are stupid. And now with the workers, the Zealots do take care of it and are going to help and defend against the Zerglings. Finally, will we have more Zealots? Yes, there will be 1. But you can see the Zealot micro is so poor that 2 Zealots will lose to 2 Zerglings, and the Zerglings are still alive. Meanwhile, there is 1 Zealot over here, and this is completely wacky. And now the workers will have to come off the line again, and there are only 2 workers left here. I don't know where the 3rd went to, but... this Zealot micro is so poor, but the worker count is 16 versus 2, so that should give Protoss some hope. Meanwhile, more Zealots are coming up, and you cannot micro and 2s... Oh, finally. Another drone has been built, but I don't think you can keep up with 3 versus 16 workers. And although Random Hammer defended quite poorly, right now there are going to be more than enough Zealots to deal with any kind of Zergling thing. And, yeah. It's 17 versus 3 work. Oh, a Sunken, that's pretty wild. Sunken, 3 workers, a handful of Zealots, Zerglings, and yeah. That is... the Zealot micro is quite poor compared to the well-executed micro of Chris, but Triple ZK is going to fall. 4-pool, nice update, but let's not believe in that thing. It's just too late in the season to be very successful with 4-pools. Carrier play like Sims can get you very far, but 4-pools just not worth it anymore, I believe. So, last game of today, it's Cherry Pie versus TSMU's implementation of Cherry Pie. It is Dragon, and Dragon has been a real monster so far and is still rolling up the ladder. So, without further ado, let's look at how this game will pan out. We've got Cherry Pie immediately building a macro hatch, building a lot of workers. Dragon at 17, Cherry Pie at 12, 15 now. So that's really a lot of workers for a Zerg in the early stages. And it's sort of thinking that Dragon is not going to be as aggressive, so it can get away with a large number of workers. And still workers are being built, and that's all there is. Now, Dragon going for some vultures. Might do a run-by. There is a Wraith which is doing well, and now the vultures are mopping up some Zerglings as well. The Wraith is now over the base, but it's got way too many units to try and kill by its own. Will we have more Wraiths? No, for the time being we won't. Will Cherry Pie build anti-air? Yes, it's got a Hydra Den, and I'm bound to say that there is a high probability of some Hydras. Now, this is quite an abortive attack with the Zerglings, or at least the attack is aborted by the Vultures and Marines, but now the Hydras are there and try to protect the their own forces from the Wraith. Dragon, meanwhile, setting up shop with the third, still has the worker advantage and will have some high power units to help with the contain, and should bring some siege tanks, because these Hydras will not stay in their base forever, and even though there is a Wraith to try and induce them to do so, it is going to be quite painful, and that's a lot of hatches already. That's 5 hatches, and what's that? That's a Spire. And this is, you should try and nip this in the bud. If you see a Zerg escape like this, a drone, you know it's going to start a new base, and that's going to be quite painful. Now Dragon on the run. The Wraith is sort of shut down. Dragon with another base, and it should not lure any units toward that. I think this way would be a more suitable and danger-free or less dangerous location of taking a base, and still there is no tank. There is Machine Shop, we have got Siege Mode, we've got Irradiate, we've got Stim, we've got a lot of upgrades, or at least +1, and Cherry Pie is building. Still has got a huge number of workers, and the Hydra is tagging this base. Units are on the way to stop it, but now there is a Muta, and Cherry Pie is going to get rolling, and this is going to be quite iffy. I don't know how many Marines are in that bunker. There are quite a number of Marines, there are medics, but oh dear, this base completely shut down by 2 Mutas and a handful of Zerglings. Units from Dragon sweeping in though, trying to get, not to get flanked. There is quite a bit of fighting power out there on the map for Cherry Pie, and Cherry Pie doing quite well. Nice Irradiate on 1 Muta, but there are more Mutas, and then again you'll have to deal with those as well. The Zerglings are dealing with Marines in a rather exciting fashion, and Dragon is really pushed hard. The Marines are a little bit split up. They could do so much better in tight formation. But with a couple of medics, they are in an excellent shape to do a lot of damage with a Vulture for backup versus the Zerglings. That is excellently done, and more Marines are flooding the battlefield slowly. The thing is that Cherry Pie hasn't been idle. He's been very industrious in taking more bases, and Dragon has got only this main and this natural, and is building a lot of stuff, and is slowly getting a larger and larger army. You can see that Cherry Pie is doing a lot with only 11 army supply, but it's trading. It's getting kills in exchange for its own units, and TSMU, sorry I keep doing that, Dragon is stimming, is losing hit points, and there you can see, well, a couple of Lings lost, but caught a Marine, caught a Vulture, did pretty well. And these Lings over here, 1 Marine, lost a couple of Zerglings, but still trading, and that is what makes Cherry Pie very dangerous, because if you try and advance and then lose some units, lose some more, and you can't reach your advanced guard with your reinforcements, you are going to lose, and then Cherry Pie will just slowly increase its unit count, and then you'll have a lot of problems. Now Dragon is establishing some kind of a bridgehead, but all Marines are getting sort of, no, 2 Marines, 5 Marines are left, 2 science vessels overhead, tank in the rear, some SCVs for repairs backing it up, and that's a very dangerous pocket of unit, and the same could be happening over here. The Zerglings though sweep in and clean it up, but they are going for the medics first, and that's quite dangerous. And Cherry Pie still got a low army supply, and TSMU is doing okay over here. The Mutas, the medics are too high on a priority list, so they take a lot of damage while damage is being dealt to them. 2 Irradiates going off, very, very dangerous, and the Wraith being a pestering little bugger over here. New base taken for Dragon. Dragon still increasing in army in supply count, but that's a lot of workers. That's really a lot of workers, and now it's making more units, but the same can be said for Cherry Pie, and Cherry Pie's units are there faster, they are cheaper, and the natural is now being overrun, but all the medics now are dead. And you can see the army count is about equal, and this push gets overrun. This push has been stymied as well, so there are a couple of Marines over here, skirmishing going on over there, the Mutas killing 1 science vessel. They are unlucky not to find this one. But they find them, so still, they don't dare engage this bunker. I don't know if it's manned, but I like that, just having a bunker and a turret and a science vessel. That's some extra protection right there. And now Cherry Pie still has got 20 units and is still trading and still over prioritizing the medics, I feel. And because if you can't kill them quickly, with killing some marines, and Dragon could do well in a tighter formation. As there is no splash damage, you could get more purchase from your marines and medics. Cherry Pie is fighting tooth and nail and meanwhile taking more bases, but so is Dragon. Dragon is doing okay, building some production outside the main base. That's beautifully done, because if your natural choke gets camped, you will have some way of reinforcing. And Cherry Pie is again over-focusing on the medics, and this marine can do a lot of damage. Upgrade time. So +2, +3 ground bio armor, +3 weapons is done. More upgrades being built, and the same can be said for Cherry Pie. Cherry Pie not really using too fancy technology, just going for the macro and just taking another base in right next to that of Terran, and now going to tear into this base of Dragons. Dragons on the back foot, is suffering a little bit in army supply and is also down in workers. I still think you could do bring it back with some well microed M&M action. You can see, however, how deadly Cherry Pie is, and just taking no prisoners at all, overrunning everything at once. There is a base of Tsunmu left, Dragon left here, but Cherry Pie is just too strong and sending in some Zerglings to finish off the job, not even bothering about the Wraith and the Science Vessel. So sending a Hydra and a Muta, and Cherry Pie is off the charts. The army count is 83 Zerglings. There are Zerglings everywhere, sweeping in from every which way, and with 7 Mutas overhead, 3 Hydras, but that's going to be 100 Zerglings soon, if I'm not very much mistaken. More are being produced, but the game is over, and Dragon, although it's doing so very well, cannot beat 2017 Cherry Pie. So, good game, Cherry Pie. These were this week's games. I want to thank everyone who posted an update or made a bot in general. I say, good evening, thank you for watching, and we'll be back again next week, hopefully on our own Twitch channel, and then Shonko will do the broadcast. So, for now, goodbye.